Okay, here we go. My name is John Oliver. Today is the 15th of October 2011. It's a few minutes before midnight in my apartment in Dallas. This is an overview, a benchmark about growing and sowing libraries. I've been working many hours for a couple of weeks on this. I have many more hours to go. This is just like kind of where I am right now. And again, here's the title, Growing and Sowing Libraries. Who, what, when, where, why, how. There's much more about the what, when, why, how. The what I divide into length, width, depth. I will expand a whole lot more on length in another video. Let me talk now, but let me describe length, width, depth. Um, Length is getting it from where the resources are now. In other words, right now, I can go online and search for public domain books that were posted before 1923. I can get MP3s, PDFs of different educational materials. Today I bookmarked a science experiment for children by a company that knows they sell whole workbooks. So what they do is they give a one-page example of what's in their workbook. Well, that's wonderful. That will lead to some sales. But if I collect dozens of those one-page samples and give them away to students here in the U.S. and homeschool and teachers and mothers and kids and send them overseas, then I've created enormous blessings for lots of people. And they will sell books because the URL of the company is right there on it. That's one thing. I'll get much more on that later. The length, well, just leave the length for later. Let me talk about probably the depth is, well, let's go to depth first. I think it's probably the simpler of these three. Move the screen here a bit. Rudimentary, beginner, intermediate, advanced. I have taught several times beginner, intermediate PowerPoint at the seminary where I work. Beginner for me is people that have never used it, seen it, terrified by it, and I give them instructions. If they follow my instructions, just like connecting the dots, step by step by step by step, they'll have a 5 to 7 slideshow, and they'll be familiar with the settings and how the thing works. Intermediate, and sometimes you get people who have done that much, but they don't know how to go to the next level. How do you do transitions? How do you do animations? How do you change different things and make it more customized? How do you put audio, video on that? And the advanced is going beyond just simple bullet points into more sophisticated looks and feels and things like that. So, and I say this not just for PowerPoint, like I say down here, computer software. You can do the same thing with Word or Photoshop. Some people use Photoshop just for quick little edits of pictures, but there's people who spend their whole life. There's people who work on magazines and websites that just live in Photoshop. Very, very advanced. So they're exceedingly advanced. Same with cooking. You have teenage girls or preteen girls or guys, single guys, basic cooking, fishing, farming, music, public speaking. So the levels, this might be my depth. Rudimentary is, I have few students, very few, that didn't know how to operate, how to navigate the Apple interface. They didn't know how to copy paste. They didn't know anything. They were totally brand new international students, confused and overwhelmed by computers. I went, you're not for this class. I've got to assume you know a little bit. But there are people that are every day entering the workplace, particularly like empty nesters or divorced women going in. They've done no computers. Basic computer literacy would be that, or rudimentary, just kind of like, how to balance a checkbook, in terms of more advanced things about investments, and then my point is that is rudimentary, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and then teaching, leading, mentoring, consultant, and then recruiting. So you get back and you talk about, come join us in this arena. And it might be an area of looking at like e-portfolios or online videos, or it could be crocheting. I mean, there's just no end to this. Ambassador for the field, whatever your field is. And what I'm going to recommend these days is to choose a arena that is your micro niche. That's the niche that you want to become the recognized expert in. And it could be anything. It could be church history. That's too vague, but it could be the Reformation of church history. It could be so many different ways. You could become a really, really great expert, or parents of children with autism or spina bifida, or how to adopt children from overseas, or how to deal with the foster care system, how to negotiate and navigate the foster care system. Become an expert in that field. But you've got to start and work your way up that. So that's depth. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to stop with that and go do another one on width and probably several on length.